Let's not kid ourselves, every one of us who played Bloodlines felt it. Maybe not consciously, but we did. The game never lets you ask who the fledgling was before that night. Before the date? Before the embrace? Before the judgment and bloodshed? And that is not an accident. It's a direct consequence of early 2000s writing. It was the era of silent, adaptable, morally weightless protagonists. For all we know, in other life this character could have been Hero of Kwacz or Dragonborn. And while yes, casual slaughter of criminals is very common in Skyrim, it is not in Los Angeles, even in Santa Monica. And here appears the problem. When you strip away the "it's just a game" excuse, and then Greenpunk aesthetic, and then you stop hiding behind the genre, and you start to actually look at dialogue, the reactions of NPCs and your character, and how absurdly fast you adapt, you start to ask uncomfortable questions. Questions like, how the fuck do I go toe to toe with a serial killer, 5 gangsters at once, and Kuei Jin infiltrator all the same night? Let's start at the beginning, shall we? Our character analysis starts at character creation, but not assigning the dots, because the game exposes us to the way that our character thinks straight out of the gate. If you pick the right option, if you choose to answer a series of questions about the type of vampire you would like to play and allow the game to create your character, we get a unique opportunity to get an unfiltered, edgy, cool thoughts between which we choose. Thoughts which I dare to interpret as singular decisions of our character before the embrace, and the reason why Sire of that, and not the other clan, has recruited us. This is the only time we get writing like this, maybe beyond Smiling Jack, but paradoxically it really doesn't help to run defense for re-vampirization of our fledgling. Let's read them together. You're in a convenience store, looking through the beer freezer, when all of a sudden, a man walks in and pulls a gun on the cashier. Do you sneak up behind him, disarm him and proceed to beat him senseless? Or quickly make your way to the bathroom and lock yourself in? The option above already pushes that our main character may be prone to violence, but it's not the only proof. Look, where is calling the police? Where's complying with the robber? Where is option to freeze or shout for help? There is none. You either mess him up or detach yourself from the situation entirely. A bouncer at the opening night of an exclusive nightclub won't let you inside to party with all the beautiful people. Do you convince him you work for the director, you know who, and you'll bring him with you next time? Hide out by the back exit, wait for someone to leave, and then sleep undetected? Bribe him. Everyone got their price. It's worth it to get to know the kind of people inside. Here we start to see the lawlessness of our character, and how shallow are his ambitions. Bribing, sneaking in, lying. One must either have no honor, or value the goal more than the means, or even seek the adrenaline out of doing something illegal. Whatever it is, a goal which is to meet all the beautiful people, not interesting people or likable people, sets up the main trait that our character follows. The trait that eludes him into this club. And it's purely physical, as if we were a teenager on a hormone rush. But I doubt we are. I'll tell you later why. You were mugged last night. It wasn't life-threatening, but you want to take some measures to make sure that if it happens again, you aren't defenseless. Do you sign in for a martial class? Next time they try it, you'll break their spine? Start carrying a knife and conceal it in your belt. Next person who tries it breathes through the hole in their neck. Buy a gun. Next person that tries is a sidewalk meat. I tell you some private story, I was mugged like this, and I chose the second option. Okay, but outside of that, again, look at the wording. Usually people's first reaction is to scare off rather than outright kill. But for Fledgling, it's not for scares. He is serious, as if he wanted another person to try, so he could either stab them in half, slit their throat or shoot them. These are not defensive fantasies. He seeks retaliation. While in a club, you spot your ex-roommate who skipped out after taking all your stuff and leaving you with a stack of bills. He looks dead drunk. Do you grab him by the hand and repeatedly bash his face into the bar? Or call the cops? See you in court, buddy! Do I even have to explain why there shouldn't even be a choice for a well-adjusted person? And for the record, the game is set in reality 4 years before the great housing crisis of 2008, 16 years before 2020. The sociological factors that could push our hero into making a violent choice don't apply. There are only psychological ones. You're at the nightclub, having damn good time, when you realize you're out of money. No cash? No fun. Do you seduce somebody and have them pay for your drinks? Time it just right so you can snatch a bottle when bartender isn't looking? Or go home and read a book or listen to music? Something more intellectually stimulating than wasting your life in a lame bar. Lawless or antisocial behaviors return. But the silver lining here is that at least there is a choice to act like a quote-unquote normal human. Still, it is not a first choice, and it's framed as if your main hero was backpedaling on the fun he has in the club, by trying to call it lame when it clearly isn't. You wouldn't have a time of your life in a lame environment. The world's a cruel and unforgiving place. But you've gotten by so far. Why? I live alone. I don't need others. Just me, my dog, and to hell with the rest. When you're as talented and attractive as I am, the world is your plaything. The doomer, almost misanthropic thought had not a choice about any friends or family in sight. An absolutely perfect closure. So, what do we have? No family, no partner, no community, no loyalty. All of these choices are about our character before the embrace, and if we act the most human, most socially acceptable, we land as a Toreador, by design and lore most human and humanity-oriented vampire. But even then, the feeling is off, because we know that we are actively choosing the humane option, not doing it because that's how we are, which at best puts us on the same level as Dexter, within our psychopathy. Now, let's go for the dots. Your distribution starts with 3 dots in the attributes and 6 in skills. Summed up, they set up your feats, and these are used to maneuver within the game. With this kind of a setup, it's quite easy to get any of your feat up to 3 on the beginning. To get into why it matters, I will use 5th edition description for skills, as they are the closest we have to evaluate the starting proficiency in chosen activities. Unarmed. In 5th edition, Brawl. 1 dot. You had a tough upbringing and had to fight to justify your place. You still have some moves. 2 dot. You received some training in hitting someone hard and accurately. 3 dot. You more than hold your own in a scrap. For the reference, 4 dot. You either received Spetsnaz quality training or have spent decades of afterlife in fights. Nice start, but we didn't start many decades ago, we started today. And yet, we can get 4th dot in unarmed within 20 minutes of our gameplay. If anything, it's Fledgling reminding itself its old training, and it goes for every feat in this lineup. Melee. In 5th edition, as well. 1 dot. You can swing a bat or a blade and mostly hit the people you intend to. 2 dot. Your clear competence with a weapon in hand should give attackers a pause. 3. Your skill with the weapon is known through domain. For reference, 4. The fools brought a gun to your knife fight. For my comment, it works the same as the unarmed feat. Ranged. In 5th edition, firearms. 1. You've fired a gun a few times, at the range, or in less formal circumstances. 2. You know, and know how, to keep your weapon clean, take it apart, and reassemble it. 3. You've been in shit and came out the other side. For reference, 4. You can handle trick shots, cold shots, run-in shots, really anything ending in a gunshot. Here we have a cleaner argument for my case. 2 in the US? Yeah, sure. 3? It seems you have shot someone. Dodge. There is no singular dodge in 5th edition. It's an action made of athletics and dexterity. So unless we go for I have been chasing the woman at night, it does not serve in any way, shape or form in our vivisection. Lockpicking. By the 5th edition, larceny. 1. You can pick a simple lock or a careless pocket. 2. You can outwire a car or shoplift with ease. 3. You can identify the location of security cameras and alarm so to best bypass them. For the reference, 4. You can defeat a keypad, retool an ID card or crack a safe. Very useful skill for the vampire infiltrator, very suspicious tendency for anyone else that is not a locksmith. Sneaking. By the 5th edition, stealth. 1. Spotting you under the cover of darkness or in camouflage proves difficult. 2. You can sneak by casual observers and stalk unknowing victims without raising any hackles. 3. You invade patrolling guards, moving softly and hiding easily. For the reference, 4. Your subtle, silent passage could make you worthy ninja, or worthy foe for a ninja. It's hard to read anything more than pure flavor from that one, but if you get this, it's a valid argument for your character to be stalker in his life before unlife. Hacking. In 5th edition, technology. 1. You know how to upgrade home PC and keep it protected from viruses. 2. You can conceal your IP, operate drones, and fake a digital photograph. 3. You can create and unleash your own viruses without fear of detection. For the reference, 4. You could personally manage cybersecurity for a business or a region. By all definitions, that's a movie understanding of how hacking works, and I'm first to admit it. But that's how presented setting describes the efficiency. And it only makes it more impressive for, as it seems, nobody. Inspection. In 5th edition, investigation. 1. You love a good mystery novel and fancy yourself an amateur sleuth. 2. You have a firm knowledge of criminology and signature acts of local rogues. 3. You are, or could be, a detective by trade. Nothing in crime scene escapes you. For the reference, and here I go for the 5th edition hunter, 4. You've been counseled by local law enforcement when unknown parties have risked the community's safety. 3 here are pretty long shot, from Sherlock Holmes enjoyer to Hercules Poirot reenactor, and you start as enjoyer by design. You don't have a choice. Research. In 5th edition it's arguably either academics or science, but based on specializations, I go with academics. 1. Basic primary and secondary education, a night class at community college. 2. Basic university education or tutelage from a mediocre mentor, a 4-year degree. 3. Advanced university education or dedicated personal tuition, an excellent 4-year degree, a doctorate. For the reference, 4. Advanced specialized study beyond university, learning into subjects few understands. I have not much to comment, other than that advanced academic investment implies obsessive patterning. Haggle. In 5th edition, finance. 1. You can run a business and keep books. 2. You can manage a corporate division or a bank branch. You file impeccably plausible tax returns. 3. Thanks to international trading, you make a fine broker on foreign stock exchanges. For the reference, 4. Investment banks follow your financial lead. You have no trouble concealing fraud. Silly, I know. But this is how the world defines competence, and by that definition, your starting with it is abnormal. Intimidate. In 5th edition, as well. 1 dot. You can cut a scathing insult effectively. 2 dot. You can push your way around most humans without difficulty. 3 dot. Your swagger and your cruel behavior have earned you your reputation. For the reference, 4 dot. You're far past mere physical threats. Remember, you don't have a choice other than to start with at least 1 dot. It shows a strength of character at best, but what at worst? Persuasion. In 5th edition, as such. 1 dot. You can sell to a motivated buyer. 2 dot. You can always swing a discount or get on the inside track of the latest gossip. 3 dot. You can always figure out a compromise in a given conflict. For the reference, once again from Hunter, 4 dot. I mean, sure, the law as written says that, but... Works pretty well with how you think about bribing the banter, doesn't it? So, what do we get from this? Whatever sequence of dot we will not choose, we will always find out at least one position at which our fledgling was exceptional during his human life. In 5th edition terms, 4 dots is decades of experience, and even though 2nd edition, on which the game is based on, works on a bit different math, the descriptors are still adjacent enough to see what happens to fledgling during his first moments at Santa Monica is not learning. It is him reminding himself how it worked. Hyper-efficiency is, of course, a trait that follows video game main characters written in 2000s, but it also follows the classical, within all of popular mediums, psychopaths. It is pure correlation, yes, but one that works as an argument. And yes, what I'm doing is obsessive. That's the point. Now, let's talk about the only 2 acts worthy of talking about within this video. Prologue tutorial and Santa Monica, with a quick side jump to Hollywood. If there was ever a place that could be called the crib, this is the one. We loot what we see, we check the emails, and we leave. Now, amongst many activities that are allowed for us in Santa Monica, I will list only few side missions within this act and finale of the main one. The chosen missions are a bounty for the hunter, a hunted hunter, and thin blood. Why do I do this? Because nothing outside of violence against killers sent by Therese Vorman enforces us to make a case for fledgling psychopathy. Remember, every choice you do up to that point belongs to you and your build, which consequences I already discussed. Choice between Therese or Jeanette, or Tourette, fits to him either way, although each for different reasons. He would choose Therese for instrumental use of a possible ally, Jeanette for hedonistic use of her body, and Hybrid for feeling of domination by enforcing the choice that irreversibly changes her. I could make a point about how they are so much more emotional than our character, but it's just another flavor of crazy bitch. They are Melkavian, which means that their emotional volatility is contextual. Our character's flatness is not. What's more important from the main questline here is that we commit an act of domestic fucking terrorism. How many people were working in that facility? 30? 40? How many died from explosion? At least half of them? And the game never asks us how we feel about that. Okay, now that we know how screwed up he is in the main quest, let's get case by case with side quests, chosen by me in advance. A bounty for the hunter. It goes like this. You go to the Santa Monica suits, open the McGee file on Carson's laptop, listen to the answering machine, pick up the tattoo parlor key from the TV, go to the Devil's Brand tattoo, head to the basement and answer the ringing phone. Agree to go to Gimble's prosthetics, talk with Gimble and go to the basement. With an official patch plus, Gimble can also be sent to the morgue for the quest Replanting a Lily. Talk with Carson, kill Gimble, free Carson, and go back to Kilpatrick. Very nice, very clean in concept. Gimble is a serial killer, an obsessive psychopathic bastard that deserves to die. We all know it, we all feel it by just getting through his dungeon and looking at the blood and body parts. But how many people did he kill? Possibly less than us at that point of the story, but surely less than us at the end of it. And before you say anything, legality of both of our lists of victims is either strictly illegal or barely legal if we wait for every fact to stop us before we retaliate. And that only if we don't count that at many places where that takes place we should not be in from the start. The Hunted Hunter. We have to go to Kilpatrick again and search name Crumb Virgil on his computer. Go to the blood bank in the medical clinic. Find the morgue. Lockpick the box to find a keycard for the Foxy Boxes shop. Go to Foxy Boxes. Go to the main storage area. Defeat the Cavean. Return to Nox. Us being able to do all that makes us, by narrative, a great detective, which he points out on his laptop. And an even better killer than it was the case with Gimbal, because Cavean here is a trained agent, an infiltrator. He was for sure much longer vampire or pseudo-vampire than we were, and yet we still emerge victorious. Okay, Fiend Blood. Go to the Santa Monica Pier and speak to E. Go to the Surface Dinner and ask the cashier if she has heard the term Fiend Blood. Look through Lily's things to find the bail bond. Go to Kilpatrick's bail bonds and look up the Rolf totem on his computer. Go to the parking garage and find Rolf's car. Take Lily's journal from the trunk and read it. Go to the blood bank at the medical clinic. Speak to Phil or hack the computer with the password Ambrosia to get the freezer code. Go to the first freezer and open it with the code 1969. Enter the secret room and free Lily. Speak to Lily. Go back to the pier and speak to E and Lily. Lily has, by all means, a quite similar story to Fledgling. Embraced one night, doesn't know what's going on, but she did not receive a good enough explanation and ends up on the lowest ring of vampire food chain. Which makes us, and probably some other kindred in Santa Monica, unknowingly drink her blood. By Camarilla rules, that's as fucking near diablerie as it can get before it becomes a full-on assault on inside vampire law. We don't know yet how close it was, but even so, vamps are your people now, right? At least those that don't want to kill us outright. So why is our character so emotionless when witnessing and commenting on all of that? Normal person would be fuming, even if only because of sociological reasons. We don't really know anyone in here. But our coldness is present throughout the entire game. There are many moments which we can use our persuasion skill to lie straight in someone's face. But I will choose 3 to make a point. At local diner, we can fool an elderly cook to give us some cash by suggesting her that we are from a health inspection. That's a mild one. In the downtown, we can send the escapee of Pisha Hunger back into the empty hospital, saying that it was just a prank made by his team. Someone we don't know gets killed here. But the biggest one, biggest I dare to say, comes out in Hollywood during the meeting with Samantha. Samantha is the only person in game who we meet who knew Fledgling before the embrace. And she is not the only one mentioned. If allowed to call, she will call Jenny, either a friend or a family member of the Fledgling. What this implies is that our Fledgling has, well, had people that were worried about him, but he wanted to be separated from them. This also is my argument against our character being a hormone-driven teenager. After enough time, and that's enough time, the hormones would die down, even after all that action, and he would want to get back to his family if he was normal. And we know from the last question at the starting trivia that this is simply not the case. So, what does it leave us with? All the mechanics, writing and narrative elements that revolve around Fledgling repeat the point that he is not normal and that he never was normal. Is it psychopathy? Yes, We get proofs of it from the beginning, and throughout the game they slowly disappear into action, where our proficiency in killing at that point is so obvious that it stops being a valid argument for what we were before. It's an early to mid game that shapes us. Third act is checking how shiny of a diamond in the rough we have become throughout the pressure of the story, and judging by how it ends, we are blindingly bright. Postscriptum. Okay, so as the main purpose of my video is complete, allow me to explain one thing. I do not believe that the psychopath hero was an end product of Troika's vision, and more of a natural consequence of the setting, video game narrative standards, the culture of the time, and every possible fuck up during production coinciding with each other. At the time, Matrix was still quite a fresh experience, leather trench coats and latex were their style, BloodRayne came out in 2002, and First Underworld came out in 2003. And Twilight was not to be committed until 2005, when vampire coolness was obliterated by a glitter bomb. What I want to say here is that I still adore the game, and that I see us being a psychopath uniquely built for the job as a fine addition to the game already exquisite writing and absolutely incredible characters. So yeah, thank you for watching. If you want to be informed about my next video, then leave a like and subscribe, and more content will be delivered right onto your feed. But until then, see ya.